Almost every organization I've worked with has told me we have backups. And almost every time we've looked closely at those backups, we found a gap. Between we have backups and we can actually recover from a ransomware attack in a reasonable time frame, there is often a very large distance. This module closes that distance. It covers the 6 specific ways backups fail, why cloud sync is not the same as backup, a distinction that costs organizations dearly, and how to find out whether your actual recovery time matches what you think it is. May 2021, Ireland's National Health Service, the HSE, was hit by ransomware that encrypted approximately 80,000 devices. Appointments were cancelled. Patient records were inaccessible. Diagnostic equipment could not be used. It took months to fully recover and cost an estimated 600 million euros. Backups existed, they were insufficient. Some were on systems the attacker had already reached. Some had never been tested. Some covered individual servers, but not the whole environment. The gap between we have backups and we can recover from this turned out to be enormous. A backup is not a recovery. It is a potential recovery, conditional on whether it was taken recently enough, whether it captured the right data, whether it is stored somewhere the attacker could not reach, and whether anyone has verified that restoration actually works. The 3-2-1 rule is the single most reliable framework for backup resilience. 3. Keep at least 3 copies of your data, the original plus 2 backups. Any individual failure leaves 2 remaining copies. 2. Store copies on at least 2 different types of media or in 2 different locations. A single failure mode cannot take out all copies simultaneously. 1. Keep at least 1 copy completely offline or in an immutable air-gapped location. This is the most important element and the most commonly missing. Ransomware cannot encrypt what it cannot reach. A disconnected external drive, a cloud service with immutable versioning, tape stored offsite, all qualify. Most organizations that believe they follow the 3-2-1 rule have 3 copies in 3 locations, all reachable from the network. That is not 3-2-1, that is 3 copies of the same vulnerability. Understanding how backups fail is more useful than a generic checklist because each failure is specific and each has a specific prevention. The backup was stored on the same network as the primary data. Ransomware reaches and encrypts all connected storage simultaneously. A network drive, a USB drive left plugged in, a cloud folder that autosyncs, all reachable. Prevention: at least 1 copy must be offline or air-gapped. The backup was never tested. Nobody verified that the backup process actually worked. Misconfigured jobs, full storage, corrupted archives, or failed transfers mean nothing was actually saved. Prevention: restore an actual file from backup at least quarterly. Test a full restoration annually for critical systems. The backup was too old. The last successful backup was weeks or months ago. Everything created or changed since is gone. Prevention: define a recovery point objective, the maximum acceptable data loss. Set backup frequency to match. Most critical data needs at least daily backups. The backup was encrypted by the attacker before it could be used. Sophisticated attackers specifically target and destroy backup systems before triggering ransomware. This is the preparation stage described in Module 5. Prevention: immutable backups, where data cannot be modified or deleted once written. Most cloud providers offer versioned, immutable storage. The restored backup contained the malware. If the attacker was present for weeks before encryption, the malware may be embedded in backups taken during that period. Prevention: understand how long the attacker may have been in the system. Work with incident response professionals to identify a clean restore point, one predating the attacker's arrival. The backup existed, but nobody knew how to restore it. Restoration procedures were never documented. The person who set up the backup has left. The restore process requires software no longer installed. Prevention: document restoration procedures step by step. Verify annually that they still work with current tools. Ensure more than one person knows how to execute them. A quick note on immutable backups, because they address two of these failures at once. An immutable backup is one that, once written, cannot be modified or deleted, not even by an administrator. A ransomware attacker who reaches your cloud backup storage cannot encrypt or delete immutable copies because the storage system physically prevents modification. For organizations serious about ransomware resilience, immutable cloud backups are the current gold standard. Two questions define what adequate backup and recovery looks like for any given system. Every organization should answer them before an incident, not during one. Recovery Point Objective, RPO. The maximum amount of data loss you can tolerate, expressed as time. How old can your most recent backup be and still be acceptable? An e-commerce company that processes thousands of orders per hour might determine that losing more than 15 minutes of order data is unacceptable. RPO equals 15 minutes. Backups must run at least every 15 minutes. Recovery. Time Objective, RTO. The maximum amount of time you can tolerate being without a system or service. How long can you be down before it becomes a crisis? A hospital that cannot operate its patient management system for more than 2 hours before patient safety is at risk has an RTO of 2 hours. Recovery processes must restore the system within 2 hours. Those are the definitions. The more important insight is the gap. Most organizations define RPO and RTO aspirationally, stating numbers that sound reasonable, but never test whether their backup and recovery processes actually meet them. A company states its RTO is 4 hours. During an actual incident, it takes 18 hours to restore. The gap between the stated and actual RTO is only discovered during the real incident. By then, the cost of that gap has already been paid. The practical test. Choose one critical system. Simulate a failure. Time how long it actually takes to restore from backup. The number you get is your real RTO. If it is longer than your business can tolerate, you have identified a gap to fix before the attacker finds it for you. The principles that apply to organizational backups apply equally at home. Losing years of photos, documents, and files because a hard drive failed or ransomware hit your home computer is not a theoretical risk. A practical, personal 3-2-1 setup. Copy 1, your primary device, laptop or phone. Copy 2, an automatic cloud backup service. iCloud, Google Photos, OneDrive, or Backblaze for computers. These run continuously in the background with no action required once configured. Copy 3, a periodic backup to an external hard drive that you disconnect and store safely. Monthly is sufficient for most personal data. This is your offline copy, the one that survives ransomware. Now the correction that catches most people. Cloud Sync is not a backup. Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud Drive, and similar services synchronize your files between devices. When ransomware encrypts your local files, Cloud Sync uploads the encrypted versions and overwrites the originals in the cloud. You now have 3 copies of encrypted useless files. A true cloud backup service keeps versioned history, storing your files across multiple points in time, allowing you to restore to a point before the encryption occurred. Check that your cloud service offers version history. Know how to access it before you need it. And the final element of this module, business continuity. Recovery from backup restores your data. Business continuity is broader. How your organization keeps functioning during the gap between an incident and full restoration. For serious incidents, that gap can be days or weeks. 4 elements of basic business continuity planning. A business continuity plan. A documented description of how critical operations will continue if normal systems are unavailable. Without it, every decision during a crisis is made in chaos under pressure. Even a basic plan, one document, dramatically improves response quality. Identified critical processes. Not all operations are equally important. The top 5 to 10 processes that, if unavailable, cause the most harm, these are the ones to protect and plan for first. Manual workarounds. Alternative ways to perform critical functions without normal digital systems. A hospital that can switch to paper-based patient tracking during a system outage keeps operating. One with no manual process stops completely. A communication plan. During a cyber attack, email and phone systems may be compromised or unavailable. Knowing in advance how to contact key people without relying on those systems is essential. The value of a business continuity plan is entirely in it being written before the crisis, not during it. Alright, before we move on, here are the 3 things from this module I want you to hold on to. Number 1, 3-to-1. Free copies, 2 locations, 1 offline. Most organizations have free copies, all reachable from the network. That is, the free copies of the same vulnerability. Number 2, a backup you have never tested is a backup you do not have. Restore an actual file at least quarterly. Test a full recovery annually. Number 3, RPO equals maximum tolerable data loss. RTO, maximum tolerable downtime. State them, then test them. The real numbers are always different from the stated ones. Now, before you move on, there is one question. A company backs up all its files nightly to a backup server on the same local network. Ransomware encrypts both the primary server and the backup server. Which element of the 3-to-1 rule was not followed? Correct answer is C. The 1 in 3-to-1 is the most important and most commonly missing element. At least one copy must be completely offline or air-gapped. A backup server on the same network is not an offline copy. It is a second target. Ransomware specifically looks for and encrypts network-connected storage before triggering its main payload. The only copy ransomware cannot reach is the one it cannot see. A disconnected external drive, tape stored offsite, or cloud storage with immutable versioning. Next up, Module 17, Data Breaches. See you there.